Thank you, councillors. Can we start? Blijkbaar Good morning, councillors. Can we please start? Thank you very much. Order. Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this special council meeting. In particular, welcome to the Honourable Executive Mayor, Alderman Naik, the Honourable Deputy Executive Mayor, Councillor Clark, the Chief Whip, Councillor Barnard, Alderman Dragunda, Alderman Williams, leaders of the opposition, fellow councillors, the Acting Municipal Manager, Mr. Erasmus, senior managers and staff members. I'm going to ask Councillor Ndaka to open for us. Thank you, Councillor.
Sivale amehlo egameni lakho moya ongcwele sihlangene apha Nkosi singabantwana bakho Nkosi izinkokheli zelizwe laseGeorge moya ongcwele sicela wena ke Thixo olungileyo sizothetha izinto Thixo olungileyo ezichaphazela umasipala wethu ngena nathi Thixo sinike umoya wothobeka moya ongcwele sinike umoya ovana moya ongcwele sikwethembile ke Thixo olungileyo sonke konke sikucelayo Thixo olungileyo we ask it in the name of Jesus Christ. We pray that Nkosi uzosimamela usive Thixo olungileyo because there's no other God better than you moya ongcwele. That's why we're asking you in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you so much, Councillor Ndaka. Thank you. Let's proceed with the business of the day. We move to item 1.2, applications for leave of absence. Mr. Erasmus.
Thank you, Speaker. The following councillors are absent and made apology. Councillor Nkati, Councillor De Toy and Councillor Giltig. And the following officials are not here. Mr. Reggie Veso and the Municipal Manager. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Erasmus. Councillor Kama.
Okay, thank you, Speaker. I have a motion of exigency that I wanted to put it over to the council today.
Thank you. If it's in order with you, we'll deal with it once we've dealt with the program, with the agenda. Thank you very much. I'll give you another opportunity then. Thank you. Alderman Dragunda.
Ek wil ook 'n mosie van dringendheid in aandag. Dankie.
Dankie. Councillor Jantjies Kushman.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I don't have a motion of exigency, but my problem is that you want to deal with the motions when you finish with the agenda, meaning that the motions like the last meeting will be in the confidentials. So it's not on. The motions must be dealt before you go to the confidentials. Thank you.
Councillor, I've made my ruling and it will be open after that. If the public or anybody wants to sit in on it, then they're welcome to come back. Thank you. It's not, no motion will be dealt with in conference. Thank you. We move to item, my apologies, item 3, matters at the item 2, disclosure of interest by councillors, item 5 of the Code of Conduct for councillors, and disclosure of benefits by municipal staff members, item 5 of the Code of Conduct for municipal staff members. I've received none. Item 3 is matters at the discretion of the Speaker. There are none. We then come to item 4, reports to council. Item 4.1 is the alleged breach of the Code of Conduct for councillors. Councillor C. Noble. First to speak there is Councillor John Suffers.
Thank you, Speaker.
Order, please.
Does
Councillor
Councillor-
Suffer, one moment.
The item is about Nobel. Must he sit here?
He's welcome to stay or leave. He prefers to stay. This is open. It's open. We Councillor Jantjies Gushman, we are not going to discuss the merits of this matter. We are here to appoint a committee. I'm not thinking so. I'm telling you so. I'm telling you so. Councillor Suffers.
Speaker, can I just make a request because you just said, Speaker,
Councillor Langa, I haven't recognized you.
Speaker, I just want to ask, can we then, since you have actually clarified that he may stay or he may leave, can I or may I just ask then, Mr. Speaker, that we ask the councillor to actually leave the room or recuse himself in the interest of the importance of this item, and that his dignity as well, maybe. Just it would be good for him to recuse himself and then allow us to deal with the matter.
We are not going to discuss the merits of the case. We are here to appoint a committee to look, as per the rules of order, by the way, to proceed with this. Thank you. Councillor Suffers. Councillor Suffers, please, one moment, please. Alderman. Order.
Mr. Speaker, with due respect, I think you, as your role is to see that item 7 in front of this council, and this council, you have to uphold the rules and regulations of this council. But you cannot prescribe to this council what to do. If we are out of the rules, we have to bring us back to the rules. The item is about the councillor here. And you cannot come and say we're going to appoint a committee and that's all. You cannot enforce that to the council. We have to appoint a committee after we deliberate on the item so that everybody who's going to be appointed understands why he's going to serve on that committee. That's how it is.
There's a speaker's list.
And why is there a speaker's list if you are going now to
be the boss of the class.
Rule us with an iron fist? No, leave the right wing and on it. You're supposed to be impartial, but you are not acting like that. I saw you moving out of the DA caucus. You are a DA, but you are a speaker of this council, which you have to be impartial. You are not supposed to be in the caucus of the DA.
Thank you, Alderman. Chief Whip.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, could we ask our acting MM or our legal advisor just to advise us on what the rules of order say regarding that? Then I think we should have clarity on the matter.
Thank you, Councillor Barnett. Mr. Miller, please.
Thank you, Speaker. Councillor, this isn't the first time that this question pops up. The last time it was Councillor Stander, and Councillor Stander opted to stay for the first part of the deliberation. So there's nothing, like the Speaker said, there's a private interest on the part of Councillor Noble, but it's not today's item is not to discuss the merits of the matter, but in terms of process of the code of conduct, is to appoint a committee.
Yes.
Speaker, on a point of clarity, please.
Order, please. Mr. Miller.
Council, this is in terms of the disclosure of interest, item 5 of the Code of Conduct, and not in terms of the rules of order.
Thank you. Order. Order, please. Order. Order. Thank you. Councillor Suffers.
Speaker, my hand was
Order, please.
Speaker, my hand was
Order. Order. Councillor Langa.
Speaker, I just need to understand. This thing has been said by the alderman here. Here, it is not going to be told that this is what we are going to do. Here, there are options that we have to take, Speaker, with regards to how to deal with the matter. So I want you to tell me, have you now come with a position of the DA caucus to say there is going to be a committee elected here, and that is how we are going to go? Because it's one of the options, Speaker. You are not just going to tell us here this is what is going to happen. Just like Warren is saying. Warren is saying it's only a matter of electing a committee. We have not discussed this matter and agreed that there's going to be a committee elected or which direction is going to take. It can't be correct, Speaker. You are coming with a position, with a caucus position now.
Order, please. Councillors, some of you have indicated that you wish to speak. You will get your turn when you can speak. I'm going to ask Councillor Suffers now to proceed. Thank you.
Dito pa pan inligting, Mr. Chair.
Councillor Harris.
Ek is op die lys. Wanneer die
What is your
speaker,
point of information?
ons kan nie dit toelaat dat 'n persoon wat genoem word in die item in die raad is. Dit doen nie eer aan hom. So ons vra dat hy uit goeie trou die raadsaal sal verlaat wanneer ons met die item handel. Dat is nie wat nou daar hiervan gepraat word, maar om hom te beschermen.
Ja.
Die raadsel wat genoem word in die dokument is net fair en just dat hy die vergadering verlaat. So ons versoek dat hy die vergadering verlaat.
Councillor Harris, I have requested the councillor whether he wished to stay or leave, and it was his choice to stay. Thank you. Order. 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 You can speak to me. You can speak to me as much as you like. If there's not order, I'm not going to recognize anybody.
We want the translation in quarter.
Order, please.
We want the translation in quarter, please. The translation was not done. We want the translation in quarter.
Order, please. Order, please. Councillors, I wish to proceed with this item. Thank you. Order. Councillor Noble, do you wish to stay or leave the meeting?
Chairperson, you see,
Order.
I want this case, as much as the communities, and especially of Pakkersdorp, to know what is going is protected.
Order.
For
Please
the
proceed,
truth
Councillor Noble.
to be reviewed at the end. There are going to be an investigation, Chairperson. So I will speak and I will sit here.
Thank you.
Point of order. Speaker.
Thank you.
No. Speaker, this is not on.
Councillors.
This is not.
Councillors. Councillors. Can we have order, please? Can we have order, please? I'm going to proceed with this item. We've been given guidance by Mr. Miller. We're proceeding with the item. Please, Councillor Langa. Please, Councillor Langa.
Because there are things that are not clear here, Speaker.
Order. Well, Councillor Nusana, if you don't want to allow me, then you disallow yourself. Order.
You are causing chaos. And it's
Order. Order. Councillor Jantjies Gushman.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, we are here in the interest of our communities. And what we are doing there is causing chaos in these chambers. We are not here to play. We are here to work. And please, Speaker, what you are doing now, the councillor, you came here. Before you asked him, you told us that he opted to sit. You told us he opted to sit in the meeting. But you did not ask him here. You asked him in your caucus to come here with your caucus position. And after we have deliberated on this issue, now you ask him whether he wants to stay. And he stand up and makes a speech here. We don't know whether he's staying or leaving. In any case. So please, can you please...
Can I tell you something, Councillor Jantjies Gushman? No, I have to respond to that.
If I was you, I would just get up. And leave.
Councillor Jantjies Gushman, I can assure you, there's one God that hears me. Order. Order. I did not receive any instructions from any party member of the DA to discuss this matter in the manner you wish to discuss it. Thank you. Chief Whip.
Chairperson, I repeat the question that I asked, and I'd like to see in writing where it says that the councillor must excuse himself. I'd like to know what number of the rules of order it is, and if the rules of order do not specifically say that he must excuse himself, I would then request that we go on with the meeting. Thank you very much.
Councillor Kritzinger. Councillor Kritzinger. Councillor Gierke.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker,
Order, please. Can we have order, please? Councillors, can we have order, please? Councillors, can we have order, please?
Mr. Speaker, can I just make the following submission, please? And I do so respectfully. On page 7, there are two recommendations. One recommendation is that council take note, in which case we comply. We will take note. On behalf of the PBI, we will take note because the report is in front of us. Then B, you have that council consider whether it wants to investigate the alleged breach of the Code of Conduct by Councillor Noble, or whether it wants to appoint a special committee as envisaged in item 14.1 of the Code of Conduct, as contained in the Schedule 1, Section Systems Act 32, to investigate and make a finding on the alleged breach. In other words, out of B, there might emanate some arguments that will either conflict or implicate Councillor Noble or compromise his position in this council. Councillor Noble, in terms of the report that we have in front of us, this is merely an allegation. There is no guilty finding against the colleague. There's no guilty finding. Councillor Noble will have a fair opportunity to make his submissions at the committee, if this council decides, to make his submissions to prove his innocence. But in terms of the rules of natural justice, you are now demanding, Councillor Chief Whip, where it is written in terms of the rules of order, there are other type of legislation, pieces of legislation that is at play here. And those are the rules of natural justice or common law in terms of where it is dealt with conflict of interest. This is conflict. This is not about a declaration, this is conflict. Because on the one hand, you have a report implicating, allegedly so, Councillor Noble. On the other hand, Councillor Noble has got an alibi to say that he is not guilty. But if we're going to deliberate on B, it might compromise the position of Councillor Noble, and therefore to protect this council and Councillor Noble, it is imperative, essential for Councillor Noble to recuse himself and to allow this council to decide on what is going to happen, whether it's going to be a committee or whether we're just going to note this report. Council still needs. In the other items, I'm just taking you forward now. In the other items, other councillors and officials are also implicated. You will have to deal with the same issue in an item or two forward. So let us get the playground level here. Let us not choose sides. I have nothing against Councillor Noble. He was my bridegroom or whatever you call it. And therefore my name is not on the list to speak because it will cause conflict of interest on my side. So let Councillor Noble recuse himself, and then we can move the business of this council forward, please.
Point of information.
Order. Thank you.
Speaker.
Councillor Noble.
Thank you, Speaker, for the opportunity. Just hearing what Councillor Gierke just said, and I will definitely listen to what my great friend has said, and I will leave. Only, not the other guys, but on behalf of...
Thank you, Councillor Noble. Order. Councillor Suffers.
Thank you, Speaker, for this long opportunity I was waiting for. Speaker, yes, as you said, we not discuss the merit of this discipline hearing of Councillor Noble. I just want to give a little bit of background. An allegation dated on the 18th of January 2019 of possible tampering with the electricity supply was received from the acting director, electrotechnical. As Councillor Noble is the registered owner of that property on which the alleged tampering took place. Speaker, the Speaker was reasonably suspicious of the opinion that Councillor Noble may have breached a provision of Code of Conduct for councillors. Therefore, Council must now consider whether it wants to investigate the alleged breach of the Code of Conduct by Councillor Noble, or whether it wants to appoint a special committee, as emphasized in item 14.1b, to investigate and make a finding on the alleged breach. Chairperson, there was various communications between the lawyers, the defense and the one from the municipality, which was Gosard. He stated clearly that the investigation from his side is finished, is complete. Chairperson, that's why I'm not going to waste much time because there's lots of work to be done outside. That's why I'm going to go to the recommendation because this thing will follow its course. That Council will take note of the alleged breach of the Code of Conduct for councillors by Councillor C. Noble. Councillor Gierke, he's also my friend. That Council appoint a special committee as emphasized in item 14.1b of the Code of Conduct for councillors as contained in Schedule 1 to the Municipal Systems Act 32 of 2000 to investigate and make a finding on the alleged breach. The recommendation of the DA process is that three councillors should be appointed. That from our side, we will appoint, seeing that we respect ladies, Councillor Lisa Struble, And the other one is Councillor Rayben Vigland. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor
I
Noble.
propose. Thank you very much.
Next to speak is Councillor, the ANC, Councillor van der Hoeven.
Speaker, before I start, Speaker, are we on YouTube?
Are we on YouTube, Councillor van Branders? Order. Order.
Thank you, Speaker. We've got IT here, we have some difficulties, but can I just finish?
Order.
But what we decided due to the difficulties is that we are going to stream right after we actually had this, because it's still recorded. So we are recording, it's going to be live, and I will personally send all of you the link by this afternoon with this proceeding.
Thank you.
That's unfortunately one of the situations.
Order.
In that case, I greet everybody out there, all 230 members of the public in George, Speaker. Speaker, this is once again one of those cases where there's covering up, allegedly in the hope that the problem will disappear, like in the case of Simmers, the MEC for Human Settlements, who also stole electricity from this municipality while being a district councillor here in George, Speaker. And the recent case of the external audit report and the issue of the illegal mutual investment. We ensure that regardless of political interference, it shall not disappear. The more there is cover up, the worse it shall catch up. By trying to wipe this case under the carpet, the deeper the hole becomes, and falling into the pit is a certainty. Forewarned is forearmed. First of all, Speaker, this item should not even have been here today if due processes were followed. The law is clear that the councillor may not be in arrears for more than 3 months. Whoever gave the green light for Councillor Noble to be instituted as a councillor in 2016 has transgressed, because he was already in arrears by then. This dates back long gone. The DA must have been aware of this, but being so riddled with corruption, there is reason for mitigating. Or mitigation. What is the correct word? Secondly, Speaker, based on the documentation at hand, Councillor Noble did not just transgress the code of conduct for being in arrears. According to the information at hand, he also committed theft. Yes, the stealing of electricity, Speaker, is theft. And the cover-up is obstruction of justice. And that's exactly what this report says. Or are you going to let him get off? Speaker, are you going to let him get off like Simmers? Speaker, are you going to lay a charge, a criminal charge, Speaker, or should we? I need an answer on that one. Because if you don't give us positive answer, we will take this documentation here today and we will go to the police station and lay the charge. Speaker, even when there's suspicion that theft has taken place, an obstruction of justice, action must be taken by this municipality. If you don't do it, we will do it. Speaker, thirdly, Speaker, why did you wait so long? It's long gone that this item has been brought to our attention here. We are speaking here since 2016 about it. But you waited until April this year. We got feedback from the attorneys in April. You also waited until October now. And now you're only taking action, Speaker. We are really concerned about that. Fourthly, Speaker, you authorized an investigation by Gouwstad attorneys. You received an outcome of guilty. All that is outstanding, Speaker, is a sanction. Inform the MEC, let us today take the resolution that we inform the MEC to remove Councillor Noble as a councillor, and we are covered and the matter is closed.
Thank you. Sal ek vir Paul Gerber vra oor die klag? Wil jy antwoord? Order. Mr. Gerber, can I ask you through the acting MM to just respond regarding the laying of a charge?
Yes, thank you, Speaker.
If you can, please.
Speaker, I've got in front of me a resolution that was taken at the council meeting of 29 March 2017, which followed a workshop that was held with councillors prior to that. At this meeting, there was the tamper policy was accepted by the council, and one of the points that was clearly mentioned in here that was resolved, and if I can perhaps read that clause to you.
Please do. Can we please finish this, Councillor Mkondo? Then I'll give you the opportunity.
It's on the first page. It was item 14.7 of that council meeting. Point B on the first page, it says we will not prosecute offenders as it will be a wasteful expenditure and time consuming. Now that was a decision that was taken at the council meeting at the time.
Thank you, Mr. Gerber. Order. I'm not going to allow you to respond now, Councillor van der Hoeven. Order. Councillor van der Hoeven.
Speaker, I asked a question, Speaker, and I'm surely got the opportunity to respond to that. Speaker, we're going to take this documentation as per GOSAR, and we're going to lay the charges at the police station. If you don't do it, we're going to do it.
Thank you. Councillor Mkondo.
Thank you, Speaker.
Do you have a point of order?
It's not just a point of clarity.
What is your point of clarity?
Councillor Noble has paid the admission of guilt. So the case is not about stealing here, it's about a breach of conduct of the councillors. So we must deliberate just on that now. The theft, he has already admitted to being guilty and he has paid the amount of money. Yes. Now, we're not dealing with stealing here.
We're not
dealing with a breach of
the merits of the case
conduct.
either.
Please, can we concentrate on that, please?
Thank you, Councillor. Noted, Councillor Mkondo. Thank you. What is your point of information? Councillor Langa?
The point of information, Speaker, according to what Mr. Gerber has actually just read out, we continue to find people, Mr. Speaker, that are being sent or referred to lawyers, and after which they actually get called to court. Now, where does it actually apply now? That people will not actually have, been drawn to court and what have you. Who does it actually refer to?
Councillor Langa, I'm not sure we have the finite detail of these cases. So please, I'm not going
But Mr. Speaker, we've got information of people who have been taken to lawyers.
But then you
what are they being taken to lawyers for?
Then you raise it at that platform, Councillor Langa.
But Speaker, it's with regards to the information that is being raised here.
Councillor Langa,
Do I not have...
I think Mr. Gerber has responded to the question that Councillor van der Hoeven put to him.
But here is a question now, Mr. Speaker.
We're dealing with the matter of Councillor Noble now.
Speaker, but this thing is going to come back to bite you one day. I can tell you. It's going to come back to bite you, Speaker. Continue.
Councillor Harris, you are next to speak. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before I start, I just want to ask one question before I proceed, and is a question directed to Mr. Legal through you. Does policy overrides the laws of this country? Before I continue.
Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Councillor. Speaker, Councillor, there's a recent court case where the court explicitly stated that the policy is mere guidelines, and it's obvious that the law will have more power that supersedes a policy.
Thank you,
Mr. Miller.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, As die causa glo ons dat dit nie nodig is om hierdie aangeleentheid of om 'n komitee aan te stel om verder te ondersoek nie. Die uitslag van die ondersoekbeampte is baie of prokureurs maar is baie duidelik dat daar probleme was met die tempering van die krag en sovoorts. Mr. Speaker, onder die huidige omstandighede is dit onaanvaarbaar. Raadslede moet dit nie skuldig maak aan hierdie soort gedrag. Mr. Speaker, dit word verwag van raadslede om opreg en eerlik op te tree in die uitvoering van hulle pligte en moet ten alle tye bo verdenking wees. Die munisipaliteit sit reeds met 'n swak finansiële posisie en sukkel juis om goeie dienste aan die gemeenskap te lewer. Ons kan die kritiese poste vul nie, ons sit met 'n swak elektrisiteitsverkope, mense kyk na alternatiewe en dan ook mense in die indigent kategorie wat ons ook moet ondersteun. Mr. Speaker, die ondersoek en bevindings van Gousaard prokureurs is baie duidelik dat die genoemde raadslid nie in goeie trou opgetree het nie en dat sy optrede nie in lyn is met die gedragskode vir raadslede soos uitgewys op bladsy 17 van die item. Daarom vra ons dat die opgetree word in terme van die gedragskode vir raadslede and we further request council to remove the mentioned councillor from office. That is our proposal. He has the right to appeal to the MEC for local government in the province. We believe that the council should act in good faith, honesty and in a transparent manner. The payment of the temperance fee is a prima facie evidence of his guilt. We thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Next to speak is Councillor Kama. EFF, you have 2 minutes, Councillor Kama.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order.
Mr. Speaker, we noted that an external investigation has been already done by the Grotan Antonis, and the councillor, Mr. Noble, never disputed the matter.
Order,
and he
please.
already paid the penalty fee of 3,900 and something for the offence. Even on Annex C on page 63.
Alderman Williams, please. Thank you.
Secondly, and outstanding, Mr. Noble already paid again the outstanding balance of 38,000, but he disputed on that account. That was paid. It was added on his account. So it clearly means that Mr. Noble already accepted on this up to both allegations of the theft. So I found no use to consider to investigate the alleged breach of conduct, and Mr. Councillor ought to appoint the committee to investigate. On that manner, I believe that the law should take its course, because the code of conduct has been already breached by Mr. Conville. I thank you.
Thank you. Next to speak is the SAC, Alderman Dragmunder. Alderman Dragmunder, you haven't indicated time.
Now, I even, my whole 10 minutes is by point 5.2, alleged financial misconduct,
Thank you.
municipal manager.
Thank you, Councillor Dragmunder. Alderman Dragmunder, my apologies. Last to speak on this item is Councillor Windwai. Councillor Windwai, you have 1 minute. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. We need, before I read out the amended proposal, one more name is required from the opposition to be a member of this committee.
Speaker, what you are saying and what we are saying is different. What we are saying is that you must notify the MEC that the councillor must be removed as a council. We are not going to be part of this Mickey Mouse committee because this thing was investigated and there were findings. I don't know what Mickey Mouse committee you want to establish now. The ANC won't be part of that nonsense.
Thank you. Can I ask whether any of the other opposition parties would like to be a member of this committee? For the record, nobody from the opposition wished to be a member of the proposed committee. The amended recommendation, before we move to that, can I get Councillor Noble to come in, please? Chief Whip?
Chairperson, as far as I'm aware, that committee needs to consist of a minimum of 3 people. So if we're going to go on with the recommended proposal, we need to have a third name added. And if no members of the opposition are prepared to add a name, we just need to... then I would recommend that the governing party adds a third name.
Who would you like to recommend then as a third member, Chief Whip?
Chairperson, we would then like to add Councillor Dirk Wessels. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, Chairperson. Thank you,
Councillor
Speaker.
Jantjies Cushman?
Speaker, can I give you reasons why the opposition, but the ANC does not want to be part of this Mickey Mouse thing? Firstly, this thing was investigated. Secondly, there were findings of the investigation, and Nobel also acknowledged guilt by agreed to have a payment to pay in installments. So he agreed that is guilty. I don't know what investigations are we going to do now. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, this thing that the DA wants to play here is the very same thing that you played with CMR. Comrade Mlungu was right when he said you are doing a cover-up. This cover-up that you want to do it alone. We are not going to be part of it.
Thank you. I present the amended proposal on item 4.1. A remains as is, and that is that Council takes note of the alleged breach of Code of Conduct for Councillors by Councillor C. Noble. Item B, that Council appoints a special committee as envisaged in item 14.1b of the Code of Conduct for Councillors as contained in Schedule 1 to the Municipal Systems Act, Act 32 of 2000, to investigate and make findings on the alleged breach. And C, that a committee consisting of 3 councillors be appointed, Councillors Vigeland, Strubel and Wessels from the DA. It was proposed by Councillor Suffers and seconded by Councillor Windwey. Thank you. We move to item 5.1 on the agenda, which is now a confidential item.